Hi guys, this is Paul. Welcome back to Geeks Love Dogs, and welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Books for May 19th, 2025. This is where I talk about what I've read, what I'm reading, and what I will read, doing mini reviews as well as channel stuff along the way. And I'm glad you're here with me. So let's talk about what I've read. I did finish Blackwater, the Complete Saga, which is a complete collection of books 1 through 6 of the Blackwater Saga by Michael McDowell. So in case you don't know what it's about, basically it's a Southern Gothic that follows the Caskey family from 1919, beginning with a horrible flood in Alabama, all the way up to about 1970, as the family grows and changes and all the life, death, and business in between, but with a catch. In 1919, during the horrible flood, as Oscar Caskey is rowing his boat through the now flooded town, he comes across on one of the upper floors a woman, Eleanor, sitting patiently waiting to be picked up. She's been there for 4 days, but seems no worse for wear. And we follow the family as Eleanor becomes part of the family and helps them to develop, grow, become rich, and see how she changes the family by her presence. But the twist here is Eleanor isn't just any ordinary woman. We get hints right from the beginning she's something different, something unique. And it's no secret to say she's actually a cryptid, a river monster with special abilities and unique perspectives. And this unique take on the Southern Gothic creates a pretty interesting story. Most of the story is just following the family and Eleanor's influence as the family grows and changes. And the storytelling, even though there's not a lot of action, is just fantastic. It is just an absolute blast. It is just absolutely fun to follow this family as it grows. The complete saga is 6 books, about 1,000 pages, and at no point was I bored or disinterested in what was happening. Michael McDowell tells a very intriguing story that just has you interested in following this family as it grows and changes, and what Eleanor does to influence it. And for me, it was amusing to see that Eleanor, who was supposed to be a monster, was the most likable character in the whole book. It was a bit of masterful storytelling in his part, and I greatly enjoyed my time in this and highly recommend that get a hold of the re-release and check it out. It's well worth your time if you have any interest in Southern Gothics, family-oriented stories with a little bit of a monster twist. It was just a lot of fun. Highly recommend. 2 thumbs up, 4.5 stars. Speaking of re-releases, I did finish Barry Hammond's Cold Front. The much sought after and anticipated re-release of the 80s horror book Paperback from Hell. I don't think I liked it as much as others did. I thought the monster in it was fantastic. The horror aspects, sometimes very subtle, always very creepy, was great. That part was fantastic. I love the setting, taking place in Canada, in the middle of the wilderness, in the middle of nowhere, during a huge snowstorm. All fantastic. I had some issues personally with some of the character aspects leading up to it. I understood that these were supposed to be horrible people, and they were. I didn't enjoy a lot of my time with the characters away from the monster aspect. So your mileage may vary, but if you're in it just for the monsters, then yeah, that's definitely one of the positives of the book, as it should be with a horror book. This will not be for everyone. It's kind of adult in nature, adult in language. If that bothers you, then you're probably not reading horror books anyway. But it does have a uniquely unpleasant edge to it when it comes to the characters that you follow through the story. They're not very likable. They're pretty vile, pretty hard to read as they go through being themselves. They're a bit unpleasant to follow as the point of view characters, but it does make it more enjoyable when they finally get what's coming to them. It had high points and it had low points. Depends what you're going in for. But just based on the history of the book and how long it took to get back in print, if you're interested, I'd say give it a shot. Read it and see for yourself, because you might have a different take on it than me. As for me, it's just a matter of not liking the main characters. And then I read The Girl Factory by Robert Franklin Murphy. This is in fact a zebra book, and this is for me a highly anticipated read. I've been looking forward to reading it for a while. I've been waiting, putting it off because I was trying to get a hold of the sequels, which I was realizing is not going to probably happen anytime soon. The second book sells for about $50 and a third for another $35 if you can find them. So I just went ahead and read it, and I'm glad I did. This is from 1975. It's a very 1970s adult spy book. It's listed as a techno thriller. I'm just going to go with adult spy book, which about covers it. Very 70s style. Very, very much what you'd expect from this type of book. A lot of sex and violence and adventure, a lot of action, and it was an absolute blast. It was a lot of fun. I had a couple small quibbles with it, but I think I'm going to do a full review for this one, and I think it warrants it, just this one book, even without the sequels. So I'm going to give that a shot and check back. Needless to say, it's a good 4-star book for what it is, understanding that it's a 1970s adult spy book, and you got exactly what you expected with this, and it was a lot of fun. You basically follow Sulin Kelly, who is an independent espionage agent, as she goes on an adventure to find out about a possible cloning ring, and it gets really weird from there on out. Like I said, I want to do a review for it, so I'm not going to give too much away. Come back for that. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. So let's talk about what I'm currently reading. I am reading The Unicorn Battle Squad by Kirsten Aline. I basically just got started with this. I'm not very far into it, so this is when I'm going to continue. One of the things I'm going to continue reading. This is basically what you'd get if you'd cross Jack Vance with Kafka. I mean, that's an off-the-cuff thing, and that's something somebody else mentioned, and it kind of like makes sense. I'm not far enough in to give you too much of a judgment on that, but it's a bizarro book. It's really weird so far, and I'll get back to you when I get further into it. But Kirsten Aline's Unicorn Battle Squad, very weird. I'll let you know when I'm more than 50 pages in. Hopefully I'll be able to finish it this week and tell you next week what's going on. I'm also reading Nightmares in Gießen Stacks by Frederick Brown. This is a collection of Frederick Brown's short fiction, in this case very short fiction. This is basically 47 of his 1 to 3 page short stories, which, if you don't know, Frederick Brown is the master of. I'm not too far into it. I've read a few of them. Should be able to finish this week, but very enjoyable. Great to like pick up. You can read a story in a couple of minutes during a commercial or something. Sci-fi-ish, little bit creepy, crime, horror, mix of pretty much everything, but it's a lot of fun so far. Really enjoying it. This is something I hope to give you. I'm hoping I can finish it this week and give you more, but I'm going to tell you, I've read Frederick Brown before, and he's always a good time. So I don't expect this to get any worse, only better. I'm also reading Gladiator by Bill Earls. I should be able to finish that really quick. I've only got about 100 pages left, so I'm hoping to finish it tonight. Basically, this is a story of what happens when they lose control of football and it turns into the MMA. Is basically what it is. It's how football turned into the MMA, except with weapons. And if you read it, it's pretty much exactly what it is. This is from before the MMA was a thing. I'm enjoying it so far. A lot of the middle has been story about the main character, Johnny Balins. Basically, the book follows him after his brother is paralyzed by a violent, vicious, horrible football player who breaks his back in the midst of a run of purposely injuring a bunch of players. Somebody finally stands up to him, faces off against him at midfield, and it's so popular it becomes the main attraction, and they forget about football and it turns into gladiatorial combat. That's basically the story. I might do that as a review as well alongside Good Old Factory, maybe do them together. Gladiator was written in 1981 and didn't seem to gain a lot of popularity, but I'm enjoying it so far. So like I said, maybe I'll do Good Old Factory and Gladiator as a review side by side. After last week's 3-book review of things I hated, it'd be nice to do some books that I enjoyed side by side instead. So anyway, Gladiator by Bill Earls. So far it's a good time. A little slow in the middle, concept's good, the writing's good, so I'm still enjoying it. That's currently what I'm reading. Real quick, I did DNF Frogs and Margaritas by Angel Ramon. I wasn't enjoying it, and I figure I better quit so I didn't end up giving it a bad review unfairly just because I wasn't in the mood for it. I wasn't finding time to read it on my e-reader. So I just DNF'd it for now. I might go back to it later. Not going to give it any hate. I just wasn't really enjoying it. I can't really tell you how good or bad it was, so I'm not going to say anything too much, just letting you know I didn't finish it. So moving on to what I'm going to read. I'm going to electronically read Wraithstorm, which is book 3 in the Wraithblade trilogy by S.M. Boyce. This is a fantasy trilogy. It is massive books. They're all about 1,000 pages. And I know I said I was burnt out from them, but I really want to finish this trilogy. I was kind of mid on the first book, but I absolutely adored the second book. It was, basically a 5-star read. The second book was fantastic. So I want to get back and finish it and finish that series out. So it'll take me a while. You won't see a real review on that until probably next month, but I'm hoping it's as good as the second book. If it's anywhere close, I'm going to call it a successful series. Now let's move on to what I'm going to read for the next week or so. After I finish what I'm currently reading, I still have on deck Sean Hudson's Slugs. This is Mayhem month, so some more horror. Looking forward to this. I wish I could have found the original. I couldn't really afford the original, but I'm just happy to be able to read it, so I'm going to read that. Let's see what Slugs is about. I've heard so many things, so many people talking about it that I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to read the follow-up to Shotgun Nun with Shotgun Nun 2, Volume 2, The Wrath of God. It is basically just a violent, over-the-top, Death Wish plus type book following a nun as she gets revenge on horrible people, and it's pretty much exactly what you'd expect. And I can guarantee you it's not going to be one of those books I'm going to gush over. It's just going to be just something to read for a little bit of goofiness and over-the-top nonsense, which really helps me palate cleanse and prep for other books. That's why you read stuff like that, really. And I'm going to finish up, of course, with Firefly the Ghost Machine. I haven't gotten to that yet. I'm looking forward to it. Huge Firefly fan, as you may have heard me say before. And the other books in this series, I've read 3 of them. This will be the 4th one in this series I've read. I was very impressed with the fact that the characters' voices came through. You actually heard Mal and Book, and it just felt like the character were being wrote properly, which was great because you don't always get that. I didn't feel like that through some of the comics. So I am looking forward to getting back to reading this series. All right, channel stuff. This past week I did do my The Good, the Bad, and the Books last Monday. I also followed that up with a very large paperback book haul. So if you're into that and haven't seen it yet, go check it out. I also did my review of the Ron Goulart books. I read 3 of them, and if you saw it, you know that I struggled immensely with it. It was not a good experience, but that's out there if you want to check it out. So this week I'm going to try and get a couple more videos out, more review based. I know reviews aren't always the most loved things, but I try to make them interesting. I try to put them out anyway because, booktubers, we can't do book hauls every week. Well, some of us could, but it's probably not a good idea for a number of reasons. And I want to put out there next month is June, and Michael K. Vaughan's doing his June on the Range. I don't read a lot of Westerns, but I do have a couple I'm going to pick out to read along with my regular TBR for the month to just have a little participation in it and give a little shout out to Michael K. Vaughan. It's a great YouTuber. A lot of people are taking part in this, Mysteries of Mayhem and others. And so I'm going to read a couple, throw them out there onto my TBR. I never really was into Westerns. In fact, I strongly disliked them. But as I got older, I noticed I don't hate them as much. And I read a few, and they were actually pretty good. So it's not something that's going to be a major part of my channel ever, but I'm going to participate in June on the Range and read a couple. And I might read 1 or 2 here and there in the future. That's what's coming up. So I did watch Daredevil Born Again. In case you haven't heard me say it before, Daredevil is one of my favorite superheroes, one of my favorite characters. And I had been waiting till the series was over so I could jump in and watch it through. And I finally did finish it, and it was really good, really enjoyable. Great acting, great plotting, great writing. I'm really looking forward to season 2. I wish they had given you a little more closure at the end of it. But it is what it is. And if you're a fan of the comics, they did a good job following actual storylines. I remember reading the storylines they used for this series, and I think they did a really good job. And if the rumors I heard about season 2 with Jessica Jones and Moon Knight joining along with Punisher and Daredevil, it should be a real good time, and I'm looking forward to it. I just hate, of course, that I have to wait for it. So that's the week on the channel. Please comment. Get down there. Write something. Talk to me. Tell me what you read. Tell me what you think of Daredevil. I really want to know. That's what I'm here for. So until next time, thank you. Remember, the secret to Zen: read books, pet dogs, and listen to heavy metal. See ya.